Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Giga Geeks podcast. I am your host, the GigaGamerDad, and with me today is DCtheTrashPanda. How are you doing, Panda?
We're alive today. We made it. We're
That's
here.
all we can say. I mean,
know.
it's been a busy week for me, because today is my Saturday. Yesterday was my little girl's birthday. She just turned 4.
I saw that. Sweet
Yeah.
little bean.
And then I took her to go see Dogman today at the theater, so we had a good time.
I don't even know what that is.
It's just a kids movie. Like, there wasn't really a Disney movie out right now that I wanted to take her to. Like, Snow White doesn't come out until March 21st, and then I'm not too excited about seeing it. The same way I'm not excited about seeing the live action How to Train Your Dragon, but eventually I'm gonna have to. So it is what it is. The movie I did want to see is Elio, which is a Pixar movie coming out in June. Ooh, yeah. So at some point I'd like to go see that.
I just have very different thoughts on the whole Snow White ordeal. Truthfully, on the topic, the only live action Disney movie that I can actually sit through and enjoy is Beauty and the Beast.
Potter isn't Disney. Driving Harry Potter isn't Disney. It's Warner Brothers.
No, I know he's talking about the show.
Oh, the show? Isn't it going to be on HBO?
Yeah. So, but there's just a lot of conversation about and controversy about who's playing what.
I mean, it's controversy in the first place that they're creating another live action when you just shouldn't have to. Like, the movies are great, right? I mean, there's obviously things they could have done better.
The things that I've seen for Snape are hilarious.
Yeah, I guess they want him to be black in this, right?
Yeah, but it was the one that I saw was freaking hilarious because as you're looking through, it's the first 5 are okay, that works, right? And then you keep going, and next thing you know, it's female actors.
So that's something I do not like. I do not like. Go ahead, change the race. I don't care. Whatever.
No, the whole thing was
if you change the gender,
it was the joke. Because it's they put Danny DeVito at the very bottom. If that,
I think Danny DeVito should be at the top. He should be Professor Flitwick. That's what he should be.
That's what he needs to be. Should have been Adam Driver. Yes.
Adam Driver would be great for Snape. But as far as I hate when they think they're gonna be, let's go outside the walls and cast somebody outside of what everybody is known and used to.
Yeah, and
it's like casting Hercules as a girl. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's all the things. Even one of my friends brought up a point, and he's very anti-woke. We'll just keep it simple. But
on the fence. It depends on what it is.
It's they're gonna make Ron Weasley black and just stuff like that. It's okay, obviously, She-Hulk. That one got me too.
I mean, Hermione was never described as being white in the books in the first place. Mm-hmm. There's definitely liberties that they can take with certain things, but when you have a character like Rings of Power, for instance, when you have characters that are basically caricatures of Jewish people, i.e. the dwarves, and then you add a whole bunch of different races in there to kind of like diversify it, you're basically shitting on Tolkien's idea and vision of the books. Like,
yeah.
that's what I don't like.
I agree with that. Because it's like there's certain like constructs that go with what's already there.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it just doesn't fit. And
there's also another end of the spectrum as well. Because if we look at Lovecraft County, there's a huge article on it about how it's not like unknown that H.P. Lovecraft was a huge racist. Huge racist. He had a cat that was named the derogatory term for black people. Like, he was.
I didn't even know that. Learn something
He
new.
was. Yeah, he was very big. He was a very big racist. And Lovecraft County, what they did was they took all the characters that would have been in his books and kind of went with a black cast with it. But then again, at the time, like, he didn't describe what color they were in the books, so it makes sense. But taking the literature of somebody that was racist and then utilizing it that way, that's interesting. That's different than what we're talking about here.
Oh yeah. Ooh, that was a weird feeling.
All the dwarves in Lord of the Rings were basically this. They're all the same race. You would not have had a black dwarf. Come on. If you're going to have a black anything, it'd be a mountain troll or like something tall, an ent, a tree ent. Like, come on. But a dwarf? It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. No. Oh my gosh.
Even an elf. An elf would have been perfect. But a dwarf? They're described as being made of rock and stone. Like, they should all be technically gray.
And I don't know how I want to address this.
I mean, we're already in dangerous waters.
I know, we're already in dangerous.
It's a good thing we're not monetized, or else we'd be fucked.
I had a thought, and I'm kind of like, okay, because when you say dwarves, you think small.
Not if you're into fantasy like the vast majority of us. You think dwarves, okay, you think Gimli.
The dwarf compared to Legolas, come on now.
That's Gimli. He's maybe 5 foot.
Yeah.
Like,
so we're small. Anyways, so my brain trailed off. What is the percentage of black people in the world, like in real life, not fantasy land, that are little people? I don't think I've ever seen
Google.
I know, but that's why I'm like, my brain just went over there on that thought, and I'm like, oh my god, because I'm thinking like, you say dwarves and race, and I'm like, yeah, like I typically think of a dwarf as Caucasian. A total
a lot of people also.
Then I thought of like, oh my gosh, like I don't think I've ever seen a African American little person.
I mean, they exist. So I'm just not finding like a good number on it. Here's the thing. There was also an article about how somebody was like, why didn't they get little people to play as like the dwarfs in Lord of the Rings? And what a lot of people don't understand is that a dwarf in real life and a dwarf in fantasy are not the same thing. They're not.
It's just short, stocky people, not.
Well, it's not even just a people; it's a race. Like,
well, yes, yes, I know. But I'm like,
that's why it's called fantasy.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, that's where my brain cell went with that.
I couldn't find a good number, and I really didn't care too much.
I appreciate you.
For all you little people out there, we love you. Oh, speaking of little people, Warwick Davis, the fine gentleman that played Wicket in Star Wars. He played Willow in Willow, and then he played the Leprechaun in the Leprechaun movies. You got to look him up. Warwick Davis. You'll recognize him.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
He won an award here, I think, at the BAFTAs, and his speech was so fucking moving because he is somebody I've always looked up to. I've always been a fan of him, and I've seen quite a bit of what he's done, and I've always loved him as an actor. I think he's really good. He played a few characters in Harry Potter. He played Professor Flitwick, and then he played one of the Gringotts goblins. Like he's done quite a bit of work.
I just had a panic, like my heart dropped to my stomach, but it was Spouse that I read, not. I got scared. All I saw was like just scrolling by was, born this day, and then all I saw was 2024 right underneath it. I'm like, wait. He didn't die.
No, he didn't. His wife passed away, I believe.
Yes.
But he had his kids there and everything, and it was just awesome just seeing him accept that award. Sorry, I had to call out my man. I love that guy. He'd be one I'd love to get an autograph from. Him, Mark Hamill. Can't really do James Earl Jones anymore, sadly. He died. That's Darth Vader, the voice of Darth Vader.
Oh, Mufasa.
No, Darth Vader.
Mufasa. There's two types of people in the world.
No, Darth Vader.
Mufasa.
You know why I say Darth Vader? Because he was Darth Vader before he was Mufasa. The Lion King came out in 1994.
Give it check.
A New Hope came out in the 70s.
Oh, that's right. He was also the guy that had
He did. He played
on
God, what's his name? James Earl Jones played the bad guy. He played the priest. And I think Conan the Barbarian. Let me see. I'm going to check his name. Conan the Barbarian. Cast. I'm blanking on... it's Khazad-dûm? Thulsa-Doom. Thulsa-Doom was the name of James Earl Jones' character. I recently just watched that at work, like maybe a month or two ago. We watched both the Conan movies. It was great.
Oh, jeez. Is that because you were out of things to play?
No, I had these huge big CD books. They were like 330 some disc cases, and I had four of them.
You're a '90s kid without telling me you're a '90s kid.
Well, that was the only way we can get movies to my deployment. My mom would copy them and send them out, and so.
Not a date ourselves.
She would. Oh, this is gonna date it even more. She would rent them from Netflix on DVD, burn them, and then send the discs back.
See, my mom would do Netflix and Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm. And then
good times.
And then then what happened was she'd send them out in like the big tower and everything, and I'd put them all on my CD books.
Oh my God.
And as I was deployed, I had other Marines that would come, and I had a logbook to know who was borrowing what movie.
My grandfather did the same.
Well, I did the same thing for video games too, because I had a huge video game disc collection as well for like the 360 and stuff, and I would have people sign them out. My grandmother, she would copy movies, and then she would have them all on VHS. So she'd have multiple movies on VHS, and they'd all be numbered. And she had a binder with pages, and you'd have to look to see where the movies were, and then find out what tape it was on, and then go look for the tape in the huge stack of stuff that she had on shelves. So like Anaconda was on VHS 1482 or something like that. Like it was just mental. It was bonkers. God. Kids today will never know.
So strangely enough, my mom got the VHS to DVD converter.
Yeah.
And then she also did her like tapes to CD.
Well, I don't think those were very like advertised quite a bit.
No.
I think what they were advertised for is like, oh, you have your home movies, put them to disc.
Put them on it, yeah.
Yep,
that's what my mom started with.
Bootleg everything.
Yep. Because all of my home movies too are on DVD, which sucks. I hate it because she showed my daughter like all of them. It's terrible.
Baby panda. Well, what I ended up doing is I didn't need those books, so I took all the CD books to work and just left them in our yard trailer where we have like a DVD player and a TV that we watch stuff on. Because when you get bored, you're like, oh, let's just watch something. I mean, it's also a smart TV that we use. So I've hooked up my phone a few times and like streamed from my Vudu account where I have more movies. Like,
but it's like
I didn't need the physical ones lying around anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. But which actually, let's talk about what I was actually going to bring up. Now that we've gotten a little bit into it, I have an
that we've trailed off.
Yeah, and get into like the meat and potatoes of the episode.
Yes.
I have an article from. We just keep doing this. We're just gonna go around the circles.
Okay,
and we're never
you've had an article.
Let me get to this. All right, so ExtremeTech.com has an article that is about the Xbox successor to release in 2027, and the new Xbox handheld coming this year is rumored. The article is by Adriana 9, March 11th, 2025. So it came out today. It says a next generation full-size Xbox will take another 2 years, according to anonymous sources, but Microsoft's take on the handheld gaming PC could debut in the next coming months. It's been 5 years since Microsoft released the Xbox Series X and S, and fans are eagerly awaiting the next addition to the brand's hardware lineup. But according to these familiar with Xbox or Microsoft's plans in general, a next generation full-size console won't hit the shelves for another 2 years. Reportedly sandwiched between the X and S and their successor is Microsoft's take on the handheld gaming PC, which has gained a popularity over the last few years via the Valve Steam Deck, which I have right here. Love this thing.
Right.
I've been playing Skyrim at work on it. I've played Starfield on it. I've been playing Civilization on it. I have way too many games that I've played on this. Fallout, I played Fallout 3, New Vegas, and 4 on it.
Oh my goodness.
And the reason why I'm bringing this up in particular is because as somebody who enjoys his handheld gaming, handhelds have always held a spot in my heart. If you've listened to the show before, you know I have PSPs, PS Vitas, DSs. Like, the option to take gaming to go has always been fascinating to me. I absolutely love it. Now,
well, I mean, like for us growing up, it was like Game Boy.
Exactly. Like being able to take this stuff to go was phenomenal. Like you'd be on a road trip playing
I
Pokemon
was
in the
just about
back
to say,
seat
like,
with the Game Boy.
my mom always packed my CD player, my top 5 favorite CDs at the time, and my Game Boy. Every single trip. Every trip. It didn't matter if we were driving an hour or 2 hours. I always had to have my CD player, my CDs, and my Game Boy.
My parents had a portable like DVD player with the TV screens that hooked up to like the back of the headrests for long trips.
We had like the Caravan that had the like the VCR in it. Literally the only movies that were in there were both Ace Venturas and all 3 Austin Powers.
That's funny. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because as somebody who enjoys playing his Xbox, especially when I'm home, like that's my primary game console when I'm home. The potential of being able to play Xbox games themselves with the saves on a handheld device is just extremely appealing to me.
Wait, with the saves?
Yes, because all your saves on Xbox save to the cloud. So if you uninstall it and you reinstall a game back onto your console, your save will still be there.
Yeah, I was really happy to find that my Disney Dreamlight Valley stuff didn't start over.
Anyway. Xbox has always been that way. Like, and so
I don't know why I've never noticed that.
Also, another thing that you probably don't know is that if you buy a game and it's play anywhere, which is what they call it, it means that you have a copy for your Xbox and you have a copy for your PC. So if you have the Xbox app on your computer, you can download the game to your PC. So if I'm playing State of Decay on my Xbox, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take my laptop with me wherever I go. I can load up the same save on my laptop while I'm away. But here's why I'm bringing this up. I bought Starfield how many times?
Put a face.
Twice, correct? I bought it once on Steam and once on Xbox. And the issue is when I play Starfield, I don't want to be playing 2 different saves. I want to be playing the same save.
Right.
So if they release, I mean, you can do it on the Steam Deck, but it's a lot of workaround bullshit, and I don't have the patience for it.
Sounds like a lot of brain power.
If they release an Xbox handheld, all the games I have in my Xbox library already, I can play wherever I'm at. And I think that is the coolest thing in the world. And I've been wanting an Xbox handheld for ages.
Huh. The mo you know.
Well, I mean, the reason why I also brought this up is because of the next generation Xbox. If it's coming out in 2027, that's 2 years from now.
Now what am I going to do?
Yeah, because by the time you upgrade, you're going to have to upgrade again.
I just can't win. But at the same time, the child would get the other ones. So.
Hold on for a second. If they're releasing the handheld later this year, it's going to be a dedicated device because of all the backlash that PlayStation got for theirs. Logitech G Cloud was a handheld that they released that coincided with Xbox, and you could stream Game Pass to it. It was a streaming device, which was cool, but it wasn't Xbox branded. And Xbox has looked at what PlayStation did with the PlayStation Portal, I think it's called, where it is a PlayStation handheld, but you have to have a PlayStation account and you already have to have a PlayStation console to be able to use it because it streams your games to
it. Steam is the only one on our side. The Steam Deck is basically the one device that gives you lots of freedom.
Yes, and I agree, Warbreaker, right?
Yeah.
I agree. I absolutely love my Steam Deck, but as somebody that wants to continue his saves from his Xbox, an Xbox handheld would probably beat out my Steam Deck for something I take with me more.
Yeah, I can see that.
I love my Steam Deck. I really do. But I'm tired of buying multiple games to be able to play. Because I have, God, I think I've bought like 6 copies of Skyrim because I had it on my Switch. I've had it on my computer. I've had it on my Xbox, and I bought it again on my Xbox when they re-released and or did the whole upgrade with that. And then I bought it again on my Steam. Like, I am tired of spending double the money to play a game in
over
two
and over
places.
and over.
So if they release a handheld and I can play the games I already have on my Xbox, that would eliminate that second copy for me.
But as someone that only has an Xbox One, with all the new games that are coming out, like I think I sent you the video when I tried to play Avowed through the cloud, and it just no. So all of the new games that come out, would I be able to play them even though I don't have the newest console? Gee.
So I was going to get into that. I mean, yes, Steam is one of the few companies with the greatest gains per employee. You're right. However, Xbox has the money to back its consoles. You have to think about this. The Steam Deck has sold 6 million copies. 6 million. Which, nothing to scoff at. But if you're comparing it to the 120 million that like PlayStation has, or the 30 to 60 million that Xbox has sold, Steam Deck is a very niche product. If Xbox is to release a handheld, Microsoft does actually indeed care for us, believe it or not. I don't have enough time to discuss why. Because it's not something I'm going to argue. If somebody doesn't believe that Xbox has your best interests out, then you're not really looking at it like you should. The handheld, what I was going to say, Panda, could be your bridge to the next generation. Because if it's going to be a dedicated device, it's going to be playing current games.
But
this is the thing. It's going to be playing current games. And Warbreaker, I'm going to get into that here in a few minutes. I know you say that Steam never much cared for consoles. Their strength was to give us freedom on PC. They even set rules to forbid ads from games you paid. Listen, I will get into that. I have other things I've read about.
So
the handheld is going to be released more than... What were you going to say? Handheld's potentially going to release at a smaller price number, say $300 to $400 to $500, which is very around what it would be.
They're saying like,
but that handheld
$650 for 1 terabyte
for the handheld. That's not bad. I mean, the Steam Deck itself is like
for
$700, $800.
For a terabyte on a...
Yeah. Oh, this is the special edition Steam Deck, the nice orange one that they released. That was $800 with 1 terabyte. That's still fairly cheap compared to the other handheld PCs on the market. The ROG Ally, I think, is like $1,200. The Aya Neo is, I think, $800, $900, maybe $1,000. Like, it's a very niche market, which is why it hasn't sold a lot. Xbox loses money per console they sell. They sell every console at a loss. And the reason why is because they know that they'll make up that money on the back end of selling software. So you buy a game, that's where they're making their money. That's why they push Game Pass so hard, because they're not making their money selling you their console. Warbreaker, Steam's not going to have to sell a console. And the reason why is because the rumor about the next Xbox console is that it's going to be open platform, which means you can install Steam on the next Xbox.
Ooh. Well.
Currently, that's the rumor. And with the way Xbox is going, being a PC company, making most of its money on computers, if they were to make a console with that capability, then it would be a huge game changer for the market. It means that Steam wouldn't have to sell a Steam console, because they're still going to be making their money by selling shit on the consoles everywhere else. Because Microsoft already knows that they cannot corner the PC game market. Whatever you do. They cannot. Which is why Xbox games are still sold on Steam. Because the vast majority of the player base that plays on PC plays on Steam. Even Epic knows that they're not going to beat out Steam. Despite offering better incentives for companies, Epic still does not have the user base that they would need to beat Steam. Because Steam backs their customers. Warbreaker, the one thing you do have right is Steam is very much consumer-based and consumer-focused. Xbox is very much the same way. They want to bring Game Pass and everything to where the players are. Now, Game Pass for studios is a mistake, because studios end up producing mid games just because they feel safe. There's no feel that the games won't sell because they're covered by Microsoft, or at least that's what they the way. Okay, let's bring it this way. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to word this.
Words are hard.
Yes and no. If it is an Xbox-owned studio, Xbox has direct hands in what they are making. They want to see it succeed. Unlike Sony, let's get into this for a second. Sony released Concord and it was gone within a week. On their own platform, Sony took it down, I think, after 10 days.
What?
Yes, Concord was out and it died within 2 weeks. You know that you can still play Redfall on Game Pass? They fixed it to where, like, you don't have a lot of the live service elements anymore, but you can still play Redfall, because Xbox was like, well, we're not going to take down something that failed. We're just going to monitor the companies a little better to make sure that something that comes out is worth it. First release of a game finally beating out No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky had a huge turnaround, and it's pretty much one of the most popular space sims out there.
I was really upset that I couldn't play it.
Elite Dangerous.
Like, I can, but it's just it doesn't keep up well.
I liked it for a little bit. I'm more into like a more hardcore sim. I prefer Elite Dangerous or Starfield. I'd love to play Star Citizen, but I don't have a PC built to run that. And it's never going to finish. They're never going to finish that game. So it is what it is.
Industry needs an earthquake.
You're not wrong. I agree. The whole gaming industry needs an earthquake. But like I was saying, Game Pass, if it is a directly owned company by Xbox, they are taking a little more care into making a game that's worth playing. And an example of that is Avowed. Surprisingly enough, I love all these articles that are saying Avowed failed, because it did not. It was
me. But
I played 20, 30 hours into Avowed. I had to take a break because it's not what I was wanting. Top sellers.
Hello Games is the poster boy for how a developer should fix a game and take care of its player base.
I agree. Avowed is, yes, you're right. Avowed Warbreaker. Avowed is a really bad example. And what you're not even getting to the point that I'm going to try to make. Avowed was never meant to be a Skyrim. It was never meant to be. It was supposed to be like an Outer Worlds where you have open zones, not an open world. And it's a game that they want you to beat, not play forever.
I couldn't get past the character creation. Art style was bad.
And it's not for everybody. You're right. Avowed's not for everybody.
No. I feel like I really would have enjoyed it for what it was.
Let me ask you this, Warbreaker. Did you play the game?
It's just a mediocre game. Well, I'm a mediocre player.
No. My point being is people that like to claim that have never touched the game and they rely on outside sources to say otherwise instead of making an opinion themselves.
Yeah.
I didn't pass the vibe check. And I understand that. I agree. For some people, doesn't pass your vibe check. It's not for me. Move on. Don't shit on a game that you don't play, is my point.
You've always stood by with that.
I have. I'm not going to bad talk a game if I haven't played it myself. And I have quite a few games. I have, 600 and some on Steam and then another 600 on Xbox.
Art was soft. I don't know how else to...
It's on Game Pass. Give it a try. If you don't like it, it wasn't for me. Move on. I was
so upset with how, I got really, really excited that I could play it on the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, I would take 10 steps, and then it was like bringing back the 90s with putting in a VHS, and it had the little line go down. Everything went blurry, and then it would go back into... It was just...
While I wait for her to come back, Warbreaker. Doom 1 was mine too, and also the classic Wolfensteins. I've played Dwarf Fortress. I've played all of those. And believe it or not, all the ones you're naming, I have right here. You think you have played very good games. You're right. You played them. But because you've played one thing doesn't mean that something else isn't if you have not tried it. My degree is in game design, Warbreaker. Which is why I take this seriously. I'm not saying, oh, Panda's back. I'm not discounting your opinion. What I'm saying is that I think you need a more informed opinion, which is why Game Pass is great for something like this, because you can go and try Avowed and then make an informed opinion.
I don't think that... It depends if I'm still streaming.
I see you.
On Twitch.
Oh, you're on Twitch. Okay.
Apparently, the plugin that I had for my computer wasn't enough to keep it
like
alive.
Spy vs. Spy. I miss those. It says that you have 5 people on still viewing, so you're doing good.
Okay. We're here.
My biggest complaint about a lot of video game YouTube personalities right now is that they will make a decision or opinion based on a game before they've touched it.
Okay.
Which is
dope.
Killing everybody's opinion on the industry. It's my addiction too. And that's why I've played a lot of classic games. I just finished playing the original Deus Ex, which was phenomenal. What else did I just play? System Shock. I played the original System Shock, and now I'm playing the new one, which are great. That's Warbreaker. Age playing video games doesn't mean anything when it comes to taste. I know a lot of people that are a little older than you that have really bad taste in video games. But you know what? They enjoy them, and that's all that matters. When I tell them that they have bad taste in video games, Chris Herrera, I'm looking at you. No, not to their face.
Anywho.
That biggest takeaway. Give a game a try before you try to make a informed decision. I had a buddy that did that who was also looking at Skull and Bones like I was. I enjoy Skull and Bones, but I knew what I was expecting. And they said it looked like a mobile game. I'm like, you do realize that mobile games on like phones right now look better than half the games that are out right now, right? Like your point's invalid here.
Yeah.
Refuse to give it a try. And you can buy Skull and Bones on sale for like $10.
Oh, you got Jay. You got Jay's attention.
Love Skull and Bones. Do you play Jay? Because I never not went into it not expecting a World of Warships with pirate ships. No, I've played every season of Skull and Bones that have come out. Yeah, with its 200 player base, I'm one of those 200. And you know what? I'm going to play it until it dies. Because I enjoy it.
Well, until they're done dropping
things. Jay's like, I am 192.
Oh my gosh.
World of Warships is great. I didn't see that. I tried. It wasn't for me. Not going to shit on it. Just wasn't for me. Just like World of Tanks. It's basically... exactly.
Oh, that one.
What?
I didn't know what the World of Warships was. But not
World of Warships, like, World of Planes, I think they have. They have World of Tanks. It in the grand scheme of things, it should appeal to me, but it just didn't. It wasn't for me. And I'm not going to muck on anybody else's yums because, you know, people have their own opinions.
What's the one that Greg plays? War Thunder.
War Thunder. He plays War Thunder. I couldn't get into War Thunder either.
Truthfully, I only played it because he really liked to play it, and every once in a while he'd be like, "Can we do tanks?" I'm like, "Sure," and I'm just like, I just sat there in my tank and just.
Warbreaker, I'll let you in on a little secret. Skull and Bones was never supposed to be a Black Flag spinoff. Originally it was supposed to be a 5v5 arena shooter with pirate ships.
Huh.
I hate the comparison between Black Flag and Skull and Bones because they were never supposed to be anywhere close to being similar. And you also have to think about programming this. You can't create a pirate MMO game where you run around your ship because it's going to have some fucky shit going on. For instance, in Black Flag, you can attack a ship, board another ship, kill the enemy captain, take over the ship. Whatever. You do that in Skull and Bones with multiplayer, you're asking for like a technical chaos. Like, it's just not going to happen. Like, what they did with Skull and Bones, I think, is the perfect way of playing that particular MMO. If you want the Pirate's Life version of this, go play Sea of Thieves.
I don't know why it never lets me.
Love Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is also one of my most played games on my Xbox.
Thank you. But it's Blade Stitch.
What are we talking about?
No, Jay said, but it's Blade Stitch, and now I'm confused.
I have no idea what that is.
Unless he sent me a meme on Instagram, and I was like, "Quit sending me memes."
Have I played the Metro games? Yes, but I'm not gonna say Metro sucked because it wasn't Fallout. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very different niches. I've also played the Stalker games too, and I like the Stalker games. The Metro games are great. I like the story and everything, but as far as like the survival based bit of it, I prefer the Stalker games. Draven, I can't talk a lot about it. However, I am playing an insider build of Skull and Bones. Just keep your head up, bud. Stalker's a very niche game. It's very hard to get into. Very hard to get into.
It's another one I've never.
Especially the new one. The new one's great, but it has a bunch of bugs. And it's just like when
that one.
It's just like when people play a Bethesda game and they are like, "Oh, this is very buggy," not knowing Bethesda's pedigree.
Really?
Hard isn't difficulty. It is extremely hard. I play everything on the hardest difficulty, and I was having a hard time in it.
That says a lot coming from you.
Yeah,
you know,
I love
what
it.
Game grinds my gears.
But it's one of those games that I play for 3 hours to make 10 minutes of progress. It's one of those games. Anthem was fantastic. I loved Anthem.
Oh, I love
now. See, Warbreaker.
Game.
Warbreaker, you're gonna have more insight on Dark Souls or any of the Souls-like games than I do, because I don't really much care for those. I did play Elden Ring. Elden Ring was fantastic, but like Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, not a fan. Bloodborne, though, like the idea or the setting of Bloodborne, that's one I really want to play.
Waste of what it could have been. Yes.
Anthem.
I agree with Jay on that with Anthem. Like it was so good, and then it just like. That tore my heart because I was hooked instantly.
Warbreaker, you would love to talk to my other buddy Liam Patton, who's been on the show a few times. He's a big Surge fan. Actually, I am a fan of the Surge. The Surge 1 and 2 were fantastic. I love them, and they both run really well on my Steam Deck. But believe it or not,
on the Steam Deck, almost fried my PS4. Raid. Oh, geez.
Raid was the worst. You're gonna have to be more specific, buddy. There's a few Raid games.
Almost fried my PS4.
Noah 1 and 2, those were good. Wolong, I forgot about that. I never played Rise of the Ronin.
Raid. Oh, yes.
The Raid on Anthem. Got you.
Yes. Yep. Oh, but it was such a good
I don't
game.
think I ever got that far. I think I stopped playing Anthem before the raids came out.
Oh. I hopped back in for a short minute and oh my god.
You still can play it. Like it's still there.
I know. And I look at it very, very frequently.
So do I. We should set up a stream where we just play. Start from scratch. Because I played as the heavy guy, the big juggernaut bastard. I'm a tanky bastard.
Yeah.
That was also before they released like another exosuit, because I think that it released with 3, and then the Storm Rider came out afterwards.
Mm-hmm. And that one was pretty dope. I didn't really like it. My ex-husband loved it, but I was the tank. Yeah, I'm sure it's no surprise. I went for the javelin because it's just balls deep and flail with that thing.
Warbreaker, Far Cry 3. I'm going to read this aloud. Far Cry 3 was the only Far Cry I played and would not play any other. That game was too good for the franchise's sake. You know what? That is honestly, I played them all. And you're right. Far Cry 3 is a fantastic game. But you know which game out of the Far Cry universe I preferred more than Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon was the standalone expansion that they came out, and it had like all the 80s references. Like you played as a cyber commando and it was all neon and everything. Loved. And the music of Blood Dragon was very, very good. If you play anything Warbreaker, the only one I would recommend out of the other series would be Blood Dragon. I like Far Cry in general, just because I just like the concept of it. But as far as like the best one, 3 was the best one, I feel.
Was it 6 that recently? Yeah.
6 was the one that recently came out.
Yeah, that one I played with Greg for a little bit, and that's
maybe I want to play It Takes Two, but my wife doesn't play video games, and I don't like half the people that I'm friends with on Xbox.
Wow.
Or if I am, you're part of the half I like. Chill.
Yes.
I mean, like
Greg and I got through it in like 3 days.
I mean, as far as like people that could commit to playing something like that with me, I don't have the friends to do that.
I'll play it with you. I played it with Greg, and it was the memes of that game.
PlanetSide 2 was dope. Loved PlanetSide
2. Like every gamer couple.
Mm-hmm.
It Takes Two is like, it always just attacks me. But then there was one where it's like when your significant other doesn't let you play the game. And it's like, there's that one point where you can shoot like a nail into the wall. Mm-hmm. The story is super sad. We skipped the whole intro scene, and then next thing you know, we're like, oh, this is deep.
I have a few games like that myself, Warbreaker.
But there's like a nail that the guy like sticks to the wall, and then he can call it back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be like going to swing on the nail to go to the next thing, and he'd prematurely pull it just so I fall and die. I'm like, we're not gonna get very far if you keep doing this. He's like, it's just funny.
Well,
bro, I was tearing
see,
up
I'm definitely not that kind of person. Oh, Warhammer 40k Darktide. I've recently become a big Warhammer fan. Warhammer is like Space Marine 2 is fantastic. I love 40k Darktide, but I need the friends to play that because it's not as fun alone.
Play with Greg.
They have Vermintide was the same way. Not a big fan of Vermintide.
Welcome to the 40k crack.
There's
a lot of people in this group that do the Warhammer 40K.
Oh, I know. If you okay, so if you had to guess what legion or race I would play as in 40k, send it out there, because I have 3 I look at, and I keep looking at models, and I want to get them. I want to paint them, but I also have. I absolutely hate the Tau, so no. Some Slanesh vibe. That's funny. No, not Slanesh either.
You asked them to throw out things.
I did. No. Now Warbreaker's getting somewhere now, because I was a Marine. Like war's in my blood. Corn, no. you have one of the factions I keep looking at down. Iron Warriors, no, buddy, sorry.
Jay, quit thinking with your Chair Force brain.
Oh, Jay was Chair Force?
I think he was. I always forget.
Oh. God help you, Jay.
I just know he was a veteran.
Throwing out stupid answers.
Oh.
All right. So Corman. Okay. I can give you a pass. No, I am I am a Space Wolves guy.
Oh my god.
I like Space Wolves. I like the World Eaters and Leagues of Votan because fucking dwarves, baby. Space dwarves. Rock and stone. That's a game I absolutely love. I've been playing Deep Rock Galactic at least once a week for the last few months.
I haven't touched it since I had my Tism flail playing with you and Greg.
Blood. I think Blood Angels are cool. I like the Grey Knights. God. The Blood Angels were kind of cool.
I like the conversation. I wish I could stay much longer. Even the disagreements are right. Yeah, that's, I mean...
Warbreaker, if you want to argue video games, I'm here for it. I love it. I like the mental... God, what did they call it? Mental judo? Mental... Yeah, exactly. That's how you make good friends, is disagreements.
Oh, yeah.
God, what else was I saying?
Words.
Oh, we were talking about Warhammer. I found a lot of metal on Apple, or like, because my wife and I have Apple Music.
Mm-hmm.
I have a whole metal Warhammer playlist.
Oh my god.
What?
Oh my gosh. It's like you said metal and Apple Music, and I was like, oh no, I know where this is going.
Where was it going? Where do you think it's going?
Your dwarf metal.
I
can't.
That's what I have right there. That's what I listened to last. My dwarf metal, Windrose, Rock and Stone, baby.
You sent me a couple videos, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Warbreaker, I'm with you. I'm very mental when it comes to video games as well. The story and gameplay has to be interesting, challenging, and that's how I measure a video game. I'm with you, but I also have to try it before I can make a decision on it. Like Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, I played both of those on Nightmare.
You had me at dwarves.
Yeah, bro, I'm a dwarf guy. Fantasy dwarves, space dwarves. I've been looking at Etsy to try and get dwarf miniatures, because let's face it, Warhammer miniatures are extremely expensive. Stupid expensive.
Yeah.
And I already have two expensive hobbies, video gaming and
your Star Wars Legos.
So as far as like, I want to paint miniatures, but I'm not going to spend an absurd amount of money on miniatures. So I found people on Etsy that 3D print miniatures. Warbreaker Forever Winter is on my list. Yes. It was something I really want to play, but I've been burned by early access before, and I'm just letting it cook at this point. But I do follow the developers on it. Speaking of Warhammer and Forever Winter, there is another tabletop game I've been looking at called Trench Crusade, which is so fucking cool looking. Oh, that's not what yeah. Warbreaker was shown because I went to go hit something else. Regardless, because I can't replay games too many times. See, that's my issue, is I tend to go back to games in between games. Like right now, I've put 3 more days into Starfield.
Oh my god.
Since we talked about it last.
So
I have no
that,
rest. Let me respond to Warbreaker. I have no rest for the wicked as well. I love the art style, love the direction, like the gameplay. I've played it on here, but the reason why I stopped is because of the frame rate dips and the inability to tune that in on my Steam Deck. I am waiting for it to come out on my Xbox because that is one of the few games I want to play on the big screen, and that's my other issue with buying games twice. Because I play on a 75-inch. If you want to see my man cave Warbreaker, go to episode 16. I have a whole tour of it. I play on a 75-inch, and as far as like playing games, I know I want to play. That's where I want to play it.
So,
sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. Back to the like can't replay games too many times.
I mean, you played Hogwarts Legacy like 4 times, so
that's where I'm getting at. I am so upset with my brain cell because I had that like super intense gratification that I have completed my Gryffindor house. Like, there's nothing left to do, and now I'm like, okay, now what? But I have 3 other houses to do, and I'm trying to stream Slytherin to completion, and it's just like that. The brain tingle isn't there, and I'm really upset about it because I'm like, I open it and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play like a different house, and
I go back to replay games very, very often. Like I started playing Skyrim again on my deck because I'm playing Avowed. Granted, I like Avowed, but as far as like the gameplay and shit, it was kind of wearing thin on me, so I had to like step away from it. I'll go back to finish it, just later date. I just wanted that other fantasy itch, so I started playing Skyrim again. Warbreaker asks, did you watch Death Stranding 2 trailer? It feels like Kojima put the middle finger to Konami by referencing strongly Metal Gear Solid. Yes,
I did. That's what that means. MGS that did not.
Do you know who we've discussed? Do you know who you're talking to? Even my uncle, who is a decade older than me, was like, he doesn't know half the shit I do.
Don't yell at me.
I agree. Warbreaker, I completely agree. I like Death Stranding. I bought it when it released on Xbox because for those of you that don't know, and everybody's like, Death Stranding's PlayStation exclusive. It is not anymore. The next one won't be either because Kojima owns the rights to it again. I started playing Death Stranding on my Steam Deck, and I had played it on the OLED, and it was fantastically gorgeous. Love it. However, I started playing it on my Xbox, and I could barely get further than I was. I like Death Stranding. I like the concept. I like the appeal. However, I am one of those players that puts a lot of time into trying to complete shit, and then I burn myself out on a game.
Yeah, that's where I'm at, and I'm really upset about it. But like my brain cells like, we're not gonna do anything about it, but we're gonna be mad about it.
Yeah, exactly. I completely acknowledge Death Stranding's a great game. I hate the people that claim it's a walking sim because it is very far from it. I would hope so. DS2, like once Death Stranding 2 starts getting closer to release, I will push myself to finish the first one because I'm gonna want to play the second one, and it looks extremely good. Are you looking at Death Stranding now? I see you over there typing. I like the fact that when it released on Xbox, they didn't charge you. Oh, thanks, Panda. They didn't charge you a whole $40 to $60 for it. I got Death Stranding, the director's cut on Xbox for $20.
Jeez.
Warbreaker. Sony is. I am not biased when it comes to games. I will play where my games are. I've said this in the past. I have Sony products. My favorite handheld of all time was the Sony PSP. As far as like where my library is and where the consumer friendliness bit of it went, that's why I gravitated towards Xbox. PlayStation's always had great exclusives. However, more and more of their exclusives are coming day and date to PC. And if Xbox, rumors about the next Xbox being open source or open platform where you can install Steam on it, I'm going to be playing God of War on my new Xbox. So there's no point for me to have a PlayStation console. I mean, there isn't now. I have Horizon Zero Dawn, Days Gone, God of War. Ragnarok just released. I still need to get that. The second Horizon Zero Dawn came out. The Last of Us. Like, I have places I can play those and not need a PlayStation. Besides, I cannot upsell the Game Pass enough. I can't. Like, just for the value of it is just.
Yeah.
Sony's
I've actually had that conversation with
sucks.
my dad lately because they were like, well, how much do you spend your money on video games? I'm like, $10 a month.
Oh, you pay for base, correct?
Like
the basic tier?
I don't remember. I say 10, but I'm basing it off of back in the old days when it was actually cheap.
What I do is I watch for sales on Amazon for when they have like 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate at a discount, and then I'll buy a few of those. I still think I'm good up until July of this year.
Yeah.
Now I squander. I really do. I squander it because Game Pass Ultimate is for those that want to play on their PC as well. And I don't. But I don't like not be. The Ultimate is the one place where you can stream it if you want. And that's why I still have it.
I don't know what I pay for. It just comes out.
Because I still have like cloud gaming on my phone for whenever I need it.
Jeez.
Which isn't very often. I'm very tech focused. I like to put things to the test and run it. There is a app on Steam called XPlay that allows you to remote play your Xbox to whatever system. Like, I've been remote playing my Xbox to my Steam Deck. I'll be upstairs letting my kids watch Bluey, Blippi, Sesame Street, whatever, and I'll be playing my Starfield save on my Steam Deck by streaming my Xbox to my Steam Deck.
That sounds like a lot of work.
I would love to own a PC, Warbreaker, but I can't sit at this desk too long, to be honest with you. I like to lay back and relax.
In the couch. Yeah.
In my couch, drinking coffee.
I can't wait to sit in my chair and play games.
When do you move?
July.
Oh, it's coming up.
I know.
I have tickets to go see Ghost in July.
And to go see Ghost. Fly a kite. God,
You're looking forward to moving. I'm looking forward to going to a concert, like different levels.
Although there is the Blue Ridge Rock Festival that happens in Virginia every summer.
Mm-hmm. We'll be flying out to Colorado in May for a week.
Well, that's inconvenient.
Warbreaker, the one thing I would love to have a PC for, and I would love to have it hooked up to my computer, or not my computer, my TV. There's only one game I would kill to play on my big screen again, and that's Elite Dangerous.
I don't even know what that is.
It is a space flight sim. Absolutely loved Elite Dangerous. Put countless hours into it on Xbox before the Odyssey update, and then Frontier came out and said that they were not bringing out the next DLC and expansions and updating the console version anymore, and they're just going straight to PC. And like they just I get it, they're dev team, whatever, but you bring out something on console, the least you could do is try to make it work, especially since the next gen consoles run better than the consoles they were trying to develop for. Regardless, it makes me mad. I loved playing that shit on my Xbox. And yes, I played Everspace 2. Also not something I enjoyed. But if you do like games like that, go check out Rebel Galaxy. Loved Rebel Galaxy. Rebel Galaxy Outlaws is a flight sim, which was good. I did play Everspace 1. Everspace 2 just came out too. Like recently, I think within the last year.
I don't know how you keep up with all these games. That's my thing. I'm still stuck on Fable.
That's a series I play once every year.
I'm still upset that they're pushing it out again.
I liked the music for Rebel Galaxy. Loved it. It was fantastic. I played it twice. Once on my Xbox, once on my Steam Deck. I'm trying to think of what other game I have. Oh, Jesus. Oh, look. Norton's trying to tell me there's a 75% chance my information's on the dark web. I get it, buddy.
I hope they have fun with it.
There's another. Oh, you know what game I really like, Warbreaker, right now? It is called. Let me see if I always get the name mixed up.
No surprise with how many games you already keep track of.
Well, when I play Elite Dangerous, I'm a space trucker. I knew it was. I figured that was it. The game is called Star Trucker.
Oh, yeah. I've seen a couple people playing it, and it gives me anxiety.
I loved it. Oh my god. I can't. I want to play it again.
I've seen a handful of people play it, and it makes my skin crawl.
A space big rig, and I live for that shit.
I'm surprised.
Yes, it's like Euro Trucker in space. That's exactly it.
I'm surprised that our good old buddy 2.5 Actual hasn't played that one, actually.
2.5 Actual tried.
He did?
Yes, and he didn't like it because he said it was too confusing.
Oh, poor thing.
I like the idea of making money by transporting stuff. That's exactly what I like. I literally played Elite Dangerous, selling shit across the galaxy to afford my battleship of a ship, the Federal Corvette. And then I beefed that up, and it just sat in my hangar like a Corvette would in real life. Just sits there, looks pretty. That's all it was. Like it's an achievement thing for me.
Oh God, that's too funny.
I bought the Star Trucker is one of those I bought twice. I have it on my Steam Deck as well. But it's also time consuming. That's the other thing. Like you actually have to sit down and drive the truck on your Xbox if you're going to play it that way. I can't just sit there and like watch YouTube and do something else like I normally do with video games. I have to actually pay attention.
To the Star Trucker?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well, you have to think about it. You're in space. There's no gravity to push you off of stuff. So even if you like go to slow down, you're still floating. Like,
Yeah.
there's no
That's why
gravity.
just watching it just autistic flailing because it gives me anxiety.
If I were to stream a game, that would be the game I'd stream.
This game, in my honest opinion, has excellent space combat and heavy sails on
Chorus. Chorus has been on my list. It's on sale for $4.99 on Xbox right now. I may get it.
Huh.
I remember when it was announced. It was announced at an indie showcase. Yeah, see, Warbreaker? My autistic side is showing.
The tism is approaching.
Told you, $4.99. Fucking nailed it. I can't talk all the bullshit I talk without having something to back it up. You know what I mean?
Huh. I know I've looked at it.
Warbreaker, that is very interesting that you asked that, because I have not played Armor Core 6. It's installed on my Xbox. Are you telling me I should play it and let you know next week?
You should.
Because I played Armor Core 3, 4. I want to say 5. I know it's a From Software game. They've always done the Armor Core series, and I liked Armor Core. I don't think I got into 5. I think 3 came out when I was still stationed in Okinawa.
Jeez. Many moons ago.
A decade at this point. A decade. I got out of the Marine Corps in 15.
I can't believe it's already been 10 years since most of you guys have gotten out.
Yeah. I've been with my wife 10 years this year.
Yeah, I would have been with my ex for 10 years. But here we are.
All right, Warbreaker. For you, I'm going to give it a go. I'll start it tonight. I'll let you know my thoughts next week.
A mini review on it.
Do what? A mini review on it?
Do a mini review. Do it for the vine.
I will probably not even be at a point where I can do a review. It's like Avowed. I still want to do my own Avowed like review video, but I am not going to give a review until I beat a game.
Mm-hmm.
Because a game deserves completion to have an honest review.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the other thing I have issues with a lot of modern YouTube gaming personalities is I'm positive not all of them beat the game before they create their videos because they want to pump it out and send it. What? Pump it out and send it? Get your bite out of the gutter, Panda.
I'm a 12-year-old boy. Leave me alone.
Well, I mean, an example of that was when God of War's creator was talking about Starfield, and then he brought up some random scenario and was like, what do you think about that? And then the guy tried acting as if he played Starfield, and he's like, well, you haven't played Starfield because none of that happened.
Oh.
So, and that's why, like,
God.
That's why I have issues with a lot of the personalities. I also want to do I want to do mod reviews on Starfield because I think last count, let's look. I know I said I had quite a bit last week for mods.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've narrowed it down. I have 143 mods in Starfield.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Because I think I had 170 last time. And I was basically weeding out all the
ones that weren't working, right?
The ones that weren't working, the ones that I really didn't like the way it played. Like I'm all for making the game as hard as I can, But at a certain point, there's a level of difficulty that doesn't make the game fun anymore.
That's one thing that I'm in like a Hogwarts Legacy group, and it drives me nuts hearing so many people complain like, I did this mod and now my game doesn't work. Like, was it really worth riding around on a vacuum that your game doesn't work anymore?
That I can get Warbreaker. It is vowed this sold as a AAA game, even its ridiculous price. However, it is sold by a AAA company. Obsidian does really good work. And if you know the pedigree of the Pillars of Eternity series, then you will know that Avowed is also very lore rich. Like, they did put a lot of time into Avowed, and I will admit that. However, the open zones and just the inherent need to explore everything has gotten me burned out, and I'm stepping away from it. I'll go back to it later. However, it is an hour and 20 minutes. We have gone 20 minutes longer than we normally do.
I know.
Because my rants on video games.
What? You say that like it's a video gaming podcast.
Yeah, I got to go post and put this up. So let's end it here. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to be a guest on the show, please hit me up. DM me on Discord, YouTube, Twitter, anywhere else you can find me. I'm on Xbox. I'm on Steam. Same name everywhere, GigaGamerDad. And Twitter. I don't generally look at Twitter. However, that's where you can find me. Where can they find you, Panda?
Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. I mean, you can find me on Discord, but I mean, most of the people that know me have me on Discord, but that's where I lay as a basic bitch. DCtheTrashPanda.
I caught maybe a little bit of that because it's doing that thing where you're starting to cut out for me. So,
yep.
But ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming out and hanging out with us tonight. We're gonna do this again same time next week unless something comes up. Yep. Other than that, ladies and gents, have a good night.
Bye.